The news didn't break until this week that Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez had a private meeting with Turki Al-Sheikh. The decision to release information on separate days was meant to downplay reports of a brawl that took place in the presence of the Saudi boxing mogul. Crawford had been patiently waiting to see if the Saudi boxing chief could entice Alvarez with a lucrative deal to secure their showdown, making it logical for all three to meet in person. The purpose of the meeting was to bypass media distractions and have a genuine discussion about making the fight a reality. However, Canelo Alvarez was reportedly firm on his financial demands, which Crawford found unrealistic. This led to a brief war of words between the two fighters, adding tension to the negotiations.
It would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We're not talking about yet about the fight. Me and we're gonna know each other, and then we wanna see what happens.
And when do you?
As tensions began to escalate, Turki Al-Sheikh stepped in to mediate. Only after his intervention did Canelo lower his financial demands, making an agreement possible. This occurred shortly before both fighters attended the Ring Magazine Awards in London over the weekend, where they continued discussions with the influential Al-Sheikh about the potential fight. Meanwhile, a report from renowned ESPN knockout journalist Julius Julianis suggests that the two have already reached an agreement.
Named you and Terence Crawford as one of the top 5 fights that he wants to see this year. Is that a fight that you're considering now?
We'll see. We'll see every.
He claims that both fighters are set to meet in September in Las Vegas, after negotiations progressed rapidly under Al-Sheikh's oversight this weekend. Al-Sheikh himself seemed to hint at this, telling Ring Magazine, "The ring is the Bible of boxing, and we are close to seeing the white smoke on the horizon. 2025 will be a crazy year for boxing, and I mean it." Previously, Al-Sheikh had put talks on hold due to a deadlock with Alvarez over the fight terms. However, both fighters were later seen posing with him after discussions, a clear sign that negotiations had moved in a positive direction.
Possible. We'll see. We want to talk about it, sit down really well, and figure out something.
I know you thought he was kind of a lose-lose.
A showdown between these two elite fighters would be one of the most exciting matchups in boxing today. The highly anticipated clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford continues to dominate headlines. And while the fight has yet to be officially confirmed, the prospect of these two pound-for-pound greats sharing the ring has captivated fans worldwide. Canelo last fought in September, successfully defending his unified super middleweight titles against Edgar Berlanga. Meanwhile, Crawford recently moved up to 154 pounds, defeating Israel Madrimov to claim the WBA super welterweight championship.
There's loads of things going around at the moment, including a big clash with Canelo Alvarez. Can you tell us what's going on in that situation, and can that happen next?
We shall see.
The fight was first speculated shortly after Terence "Bud" Crawford dethroned WBA light middleweight champion Israel Madrimov last August, adding the 154-pound division to the 3 other weight classes where he has won world titles. Not long after Crawford's triumph, Canelo Alvarez successfully defended his WBC, WBA, and WBO super middleweight titles, securing another dominant victory in a division he has ruled since 2021.
To come my way and me and him get in the ring, then it'll be an electrifying fight, you know.
As both fighters prepare for what could be the biggest fight of their careers, the 39-year-old 2-division undisputed champion has already issued a warning. Speaking on social media, Crawford sent a bold message to Canelo, vowing to shock the world when they finally clash. "I'm gonna shock the world. Watch. The best is yet to come. I had it in my back pocket this whole time," Crawford declared, signaling his confidence ahead of the potential super fight.
It won't be like any other fight that he's fought recently, and it'd be a well fought.
Although Crawford remains confident, the challenge ahead is monumental. He will have to move up 2 weight divisions to face the 34-year-old Canelo Alvarez, who has found tremendous success at super middleweight, defeating elite opponents like Gennady Golovkin, Caleb Plant, and Jermall Charlo. Despite the weight disparity, the potential for this super fight continues to be a major topic of discussion, with fans eagerly debating whether Crawford's skill can overcome Canelo's size and power.
Both of us, I believe.
Any doubt in your mind that you beat him?
Of course I beat him. It ain't no doubt in my mind that I won't beat anybody that I step in the ring with.
Amir Khan, the only boxer to have faced both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, shared his unique perspective on the potential showdown in an interview with Box Nation. Khan, who fought Canelo at a catchweight of 155 pounds, acknowledged the significant size advantage Alvarez would have. Canelo is a beast, man. I fought both of those guys, and I feel that size always wins. There's a reason we have weight divisions, Khan explained. Terence is special, don't get me wrong. But getting hit by a guy like Canelo is a different story. Meanwhile, WBC, WBA, and WBO super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez dominated Edgar Berlanga in their title fight at T-Mobile Arena on September 14, 2024, in Las Vegas.
I like Crawford, and I think Canelo is a beast that way. Honestly, I would advise Crawford not to do that.
Khan, who suffered a sixth-round stoppage loss to Alvarez, emphasized the physical challenge of facing the Mexican superstar. What a fight that would be, though. I'll root for my boy Terence and want him to win, but it would be tough. Does he need this fight? No, I don't think so. He's done so well in his career, beaten everyone, he's untouchable, one of the best pound for pound. But if it's a big payday, I get why it would happen. Why take a risky fight for less money when you can take a seriously tough fight for serious money? Despite the risks, Khan praised Crawford's skill, acknowledging his ability to compete at the highest level. However, he reiterated the dangers of such a matchup, adding, "We never want to see fighters get hurt."
Canelo versus Jermall Charlo playing out.
I think Canelo just outboxes. Well, no, doesn't outbox him, but I think just outpowers him and beats him to the punch. And
Amid growing speculation, Canelo Alvarez addressed the rumors with a brief but intriguing response. "I'm open to talk." While his statement leaves room for interpretation, it has only fueled excitement among boxing fans, suggesting that this megafight might be closer to reality as a potential September showdown looms. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson believes Terence Crawford will not only defeat Canelo, but could make it look easy. The WBC lightweight champion has long maintained that Crawford has the skills to beat Alvarez, reinforcing his confidence in the undefeated star's abilities.
Rumors of Canelo and obviously your good friend, mentor, Terence Crawford. A lot of people a few years ago would have said that's crazy, but I think everybody, when they see the talent of Terence
Crawford, the WBA champion at 154 pounds, has committed to putting on 14 pounds to compete in what would likely be the biggest payday of his career. When asked if he believes Crawford will win, Shakur Stevenson was unwavering in his response. "I've been saying this for years now. I'm probably the first one who's been saying this even before Terence was saying it. I always thought that Crawford's style against Canelo. I think he beats Canelo," Stevenson told TalkSport Boxing. While Stevenson makes it sound like Crawford will stand toe-to-toe and trade punches with Canelo in September, that scenario seems unlikely. Given Crawford's usual approach against power punches, he may look to outbox Alvarez rather than engage in a slugfest.
classes. He's a special fighter, pound for pound. I think many will say #1 in the world, alongside the likes of people like yourself and that great list that we've got at the minute. Is he the man to beat Canelo?
Crawford typically relies on movement, using his jab and leaping into land shots before quickly repositioning. He rarely stays stationary or engages in relentless exchanges. His aggressive performance against Errol Spence was more of an exception, largely because Spence wasn't at his best following his car accident. It would be a little over a year, 13 months. You've got to be very careful if you're going to take a fight above 160 pounds because it's a new weight range, said Chris Mannix on his YouTube channel, discussing the possibility of Crawford taking a tune-up fight. However, it seems unlikely that Crawford will risk facing a super middleweight before stepping into the ring against Canelo Alvarez in September.
Yes. Honestly, if anybody could jump up in weight classes and do it, it's Terence Crawford. I don't know nobody who is mentally...
If Crawford does compete at super middleweight, it would likely be at a catch weight, potentially around 163 or 164 pounds against a middleweight moving up. Possible opponents could include Aaron McKenna, Liam Smith, Austin Williams, or Kyron Davis, fighters who pose minimal threat to Crawford and are ranked lower in the division. Meanwhile, Hall of Famer and ESPN boxing analyst Timothy Bradley Jr. has expressed his belief that Terence Crawford would prevail in a matchup against Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Mentally as strong as Terence Crawford, so I can't wait to watch it.
Your gym's an exciting gym. You all bounce off each other. You got likes of Keyshawn. Everyone's sort of mixing. That mentality in that gym, what is it? How is it different from any other gym? I've got to ask you because...
Bradley took to his YouTube channel to argue in favor of Crawford. Everyone keeps talking about the weight, Bradley said, acknowledging that Crawford only recently moved up to 154 pounds, while Alvarez has been fighting at 168 pounds since late 2020. Oh, he's going to knock him out. When the hell was the last time Canelo knocked somebody out? Bradley questioned. Indeed, Alvarez's last stoppage victory came against Caleb Plant in November 2021.
Told me to study Canelo, study Crawford. I'm letting y'all know right now, he about to beat the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez.
Since then, Canelo has failed to knock out top opponents, including Dmitry Bivol in a loss and a 40-year-old Gennady Golovkin. He has also gone the distance with fighters considered to be below his skill level, such as John Ryder, Jaime Munguia, and Edgar Berlanga. Even Jamal Charlo, a natural junior middleweight, lasted all 12 rounds against Canelo, though he was far from competitive. Y'all can quit with that. He's going to knock Crawford out. Come on, man, Bradley said. Didn't we just see Alexander Usyk fight a guy, Tyson Fury, who was 50 pounds heavier? Canelo's the same height as Crawford. He's not a natural 168-pounder. Usyk is a great fighter, absolutely. But you know who else is great? Crawford. The great ones know how to figure it out.
Yes, he is. Number 2, Devin Haney. You want to get back, man, go back to your roots, bro. Go back to where you started, bro.
Bradley highlighted Crawford's 74-inch reach, 3.5 inches longer than Canelo's, as a key advantage, along with his ability to limit opponents' output through precise counterpunching. Given that Alvarez is already a low-volume puncher, Bradley believes Crawford can win a decision by maintaining distance, landing straight shots between Canelo's looping hooks and wearing him down in the later rounds. Don't go running away from the fight now, Canelo, Bradley said, referencing the unified super middleweight champion's apparent avoidance of David Benavidez. Mocking Canelo's higher-pitched voice, Bradley added, "Remember what you said? Easy fight, easy fight, easy fight, easy fight." While several analytical minds agree with Bradley's take, the majority in the boxing world still believe the size and power difference will be too much for Crawford to overcome.
Where'd you start? You started in Mexico, man. Go back, get one of those guys out of there, man. Go back, start there. That's where you start. Go back to your roots, bro. Get some of that humble pie, bro. Go back, start where you started. Start where you started at.
Bradley, known for his strong opinions, remains confident in his bold take. "I'm going to get back to my haterade," he announced toward the end of the video, sipping his drink. You already know. Whether the boxing world will witness a Canelo versus Crawford showdown ultimately seems to depend on Alvarez. Crawford, who became the undisputed welterweight champion in July 2023 by stopping Errol Spence Jr. inside 9 rounds, continued making history earlier this year. He became a 4-division champion by outpointing Israel Madrimov to capture the WBA title at 154 pounds. Meanwhile, Mexican icon Canelo Alvarez has also enjoyed remarkable success in recent years, further solidifying his legacy as one of the sport's biggest stars.
Just with Canelo, obviously he had his fight with Edgar Berlanga announced recently. Not received necessarily a positive outcome and reaction he'd have liked. What did you make of the Canelo Berlanga?
After capturing the undisputed super middleweight title in 2021, Canelo fell short in his challenge against then WBA light heavyweight champion Dmitry Bivol. However, the 34-year-old has since rebounded with 5 consecutive victories, defeating top names like Gennady Golovkin, Jermall Charlo, and Edgar Berlanga along the way. Legendary boxing trainer turned analyst Teddy Atlas weighed in on the potential mega fight between Canelo and Crawford in an interview with Fight Hub TV. Atlas expressed his confidence in the American southpaw, stating, "Very few people have the appetite or inclination for challenging themselves. Mr. Crawford does. I ain't never going against that guy. Father Time might catch him, but I don't know if a weight class can catch him."
But listen, I think Berlanga's a talented kid who's getting better. He's improved recently. I think he still needs more seasoning, but I see an improvement in him. He is a talented kid.
It's a tremendous challenge. Because Canelo is a tremendous fighter, he's bigger, stronger, and can punch and time you. But just because you're smaller doesn't mean you can't win. Crawford will come up with a game plan that forces the bigger man to use his size, Atlas explained. Brian McIntyre, the mastermind behind Terence Crawford's rise to world titles, in 4 weight divisions, will be key in strategizing for a potential fight with Canelo Alvarez.
Get them legs in some shape. Make sure the legs are in good shape because you have to side movement. Is that a fight you would recommend for him?
Crawford, now a WBA champion at 154 pounds, is targeting a career-defining fight against Canelo Alvarez. While Canelo has only lost to Floyd Mayweather and Dimitri Bivol, Crawford's trainer, Brian McIntyre, sees Bivol's blueprint as key. He made him move his feet. "If this fight happens, that's the one I'd study," McIntyre told the Luke Thomas YouTube channel.
Real simple. It's real simple. You just got to know boxing in order for you to be able to say that. Terry's going to get in there and do what he needs to do. Perform.
I'd also consider Mayweather versus Canelo. Bean believes that Terence Crawford is on a short list to face the Mexican superstar. After months of speculation and media coverage surrounding the potential clash, Crawford has remained persistent in pursuing the fight, showing a willingness to move up 2 weight classes to prove his dominance. He fully understands the physical disadvantages he would face against Canelo, acknowledging that size will be a crucial factor. However, he remains confident in his ability to overcome the challenge and impose his boxing style. Some analysts are skeptical about Crawford's chances at super middleweight, partly due to his most recent fight, a points victory over Israel Madrimov at super welterweight. The performance lacked the dominant display many had anticipated, raising questions about his ability to compete effectively at a higher weight.
For boxing fans, they know Crawford can beat Canelo just like they knew Bud was going to beat Smith. It's real simple. Real simple. You just got to know boxing in order for you to be able to say it.
Regardless of these concerns, a potential showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence, Crawford has captured the imagination of boxing fans. The combination of power, speed, technique, and charisma from both fighters sets the stage for what could be an unforgettable spectacle. Canelo Alvarez has maintained a tradition of fighting twice a year, once in May and again in September, with the latter aligning with Mexico's Independence Day celebrations. Since 2022, he has consistently scheduled his bouts in these months, and it is expected that he will follow the same pattern this year. With Canelo showing little interest in accepting the challenge of David Benavidez, the mandatory World Boxing Council, WBC 168-pound challenger, Terence Crawford has emerged as a strong contender for his first fight of the year.
I don't know, man. I don't know. They still got to work things out and see where they go from there.
I know Tim Booth before the run up as an opponent. What do you want Crawford to do?
Although this fight appears to be more of a media spectacle than a true competitive challenge, given that Terence Crawford competes at 154 pounds, 2 weight classes below Canelo Alvarez, the possibility remains intriguing. Both Crawford and his advisor, Shukru Sheikh Aden, are actively trying to convince Alvarez to accept the fight, for which Canelo has reportedly demanded $150 million, given how unconvincing a fight against Crawford may seem from a sporting perspective, coupled with Canelo's reluctance to face David Benavidez, who is now competing at 175 pounds. Other intriguing options could emerge for Alvarez to kick off 2025 in the ring. One such name is Christian Mbili, a 29-year-old French fighter with an undefeated 28-0 record. In his last fight, he secured a victory over Sergey Derevianchenko in August, positioning himself as a potential contender for the WBC title. A possibility that had already been ruled out for September was William Skull, 23-0, the International Boxing Federation, IBF challenger. The IBF stripped Canelo Alvarez of his world title after he refused to face the Cuban fighter, removing his undisputed status in the process. Speaking to Fight Hub, TVE, Brian "Bomac" McIntyre gave a glowing endorsement of the undefeated Terence Crawford, who has been linked to a potential showdown with Canelo in either May or September. Crawford has all the tools to win a high third undisputed crown. Any hardcore boxing fan knows Crawford can beat Canelo. You have to really understand boxing to see that, Bomac told Fight Hub.
Believes in hardcore boxing fans, they know Crawford can beat Canelo just like they knew Bud was going to beat Spence.
Regarding Conor Benn's performance, Bomac didn't hold back, saying, "I think he looked like trash. I didn't watch the fight, but some of the coaches were watching it while I was driving. They just said he looked like trash." Bomac also weighed in on Benn's opponent, Pete Dobson, stating, "I know Pete really well, and he gave Ben a tough fight, but I don't think much of Ben, I really don't. I hear his name, but I don't really know him."
What's your thoughts on that?
Let's go. Hey, that's a challenge to me too, as a trainer. I want to try to, outthink Eddie Reynoso over there.
When asked about Conor Benn calling out Gervonta Tank Davis, Bomac McIntyre was dismissive, saying, "Why would he go down there and pick on guys at 135 and 140? Why not go after fighters at 147 and call those guys out? If you really want to fight somebody, fight the best." Sharing his thoughts on the upcoming fight between Tim Tszyu and Keith Thurman, Bomac said, "I think it's going to be a good fight. Tszyu has the momentum because Keith has been out for a while."
Real simple. You just got to know boxing in order for you to be able to say that. Terry's going to get in there and do what he needs to do. Perform.
It's going to be a tough fight to call right now, but I can see it leaning towards Tszyu just because he has the momentum. Thurman, on the other hand, doesn't have that momentum. It's like riding a bike. He's been at that high level for years, but being inactive makes a difference. What are your thoughts on Terence Crawford jumping weight classes to face Canelo Alvarez? Who do you think wins this matchup? Let us know in the comments. That's all for now. For the best updates on boxing news, moments, events, and action, stay connected by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss our latest content. Until next time, for more updates.